Hello and welcome to part two of creating a picture from scratch. This time around, I'm going to specifically be talking about the horizon line. In the last video, I talked about breaking up the picture plane and not worrying about perspective. I added a few details myself just to show you that you do not need perspective. To make a picture already look more interesting, all you have to do is break up the picture plane. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist in the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 20 years. Let's get started with this. I'm going to change the color of this so that it doesn't get in the way and so you can see. All right, so I'm going to put a horizon line in here, and the horizon line I am basically just following what Anastasia originally put in her drawing already. Here's the ground plane, and a ground plane at this, and I'm assuming that this ground plane is in fact a horizon line, specifically because if you look at this little guy over here, he is, his eyes go here, and so this is the horizon line is another way of saying the eye line. Now, I'm going to be talking about the eye line in for a second. Now, I have a website called thedrawingwebsite.com, and in said website, I talk about perspective. Here, let me quickly show you. I do have a perspective chapter, and I'm going to be summing up some of what I already say in here. So, this is the website, and this is the chapter where I just give you the 5 basic principles you should know about perspective. So, let's take this. This is my example of the horizon line and the water line. Now, the way that the horizon line works, or what the horizon line is, or the eye line is. Imagine you're looking at the world, and the world is inside a tank, like a water tank. And the water goes all the way up to your eyeballs. Everything that is, and so that this is the water line. Anything inside the water, you're looking down on. Anything above the water, you're looking up at. Okay? So that's how the horizon line works. It's the division point of your view. Do you see? So that means that you're looking down at stuff. Whatever you're looking down at means that they're below the horizon line. If you're looking up at something, it means that it's above the horizon line. Okay? That doesn't necessarily mean that everything you draw must be at a human person's eye line. It is actually what it just means is that that's where the camera is placed. You could place the camera on the ground, or you could place it above your head, but that's the vantage point that you're seeing the picture from, and that guides the space that you use in a drawing. So we're assuming that this is the horizon line. If that is the case, then anything above the horizon line we're looking up into, and anything below the horizon line we're looking down at. All right? There are different ways that you can come up with a horizon line. For example, Anastasia specifically said that she wanted a low horizon line looking up at the flying saucer. However, looking at this house, notice that that we're looking down at this house because the perspective is going up like this. Do you see? So let's try a little experiment. One way to discover or see where your horizon line actually is from a rough drawing is to notice the details that you've put into that drawing. Now, if you're not good at perspective, sometimes the details may be off. Now, this is probably where the horizon line is based on the house details. We're assuming if say it's if we were to make a line, all of these are pointing up. No, although I'm not going to be talking about the vanishing points at the moment and how they work. Um, these lines are pointing up this way. Uh, First of all, none of them are going to specific vanishing point, and I will get into vanishing points later. But let's say that they were. Let's say that they were. They were. Let's pick this point and have this be the point. So this is how you would discover one way to discover where the horizon line would be based on the details of the rough that you created. Another way to discover where the horizon line would be is to check your figures, the figures in your drawing, and the details of in the backgrounds and maybe other characters. This is a little bit more tricky in this case because there's only the one person. But if we were to take this one person, let's just take this person here. I will duplicate him. And compare it to these trees. And let's say that these trees are very tall. So I'm going to shrink him down to the size of where the trees would be. To him. He'd probably be about this tall next to this tree. Maybe smaller. Okay. So let's say that this is him. The horizon line, when you create one, always crosses a person in the same spot. No matter where they are, if the horizon line crosses somebody at the neck, it would be at the neck. The horizon line would always cross the person at the neck. If it crosses it at their legs, they would always cross it at the legs, etc., etc. So, knowing this little simple rule of thumb, looks like the horizon line crosses them both here. Do you see? Around their crotch. This is, in fact, based on measuring this tree detail and this man, the horizon line would actually be right here. Because of the detail of the tree. So this is actually the official horizon line if we were taking this tree shape as gospel, as exactly where you want the tree to be. If you didn't, that's okay. But Anastasia specifically picked this to be her horizon line, so we don't have to do any of what we just did. But those are tips on how to discover where the horizon line is from a rough drawing if the details are exactly what you want them to be. However, in a case like this where the artist is not quite sure about their perspective, the details would not be helpful. She specifically chose a specific spot where she actually does want the horizon line to be. And that's what we're going to be going with. And I'm going to show you how to work with the horizon line as it is in the next video. If you like this video, I do have and you want to support more and want to even ask me to look over your own video, I encourage you to go ahead and ask me, but also I tend to specifically talk uh, to my patrons over at Patreon. They're the ones that get first dibs to any answers of questions that they have about drawing, and they get their videos first and they get their questions answered first. I do get to other people's questions that are not my patrons, but uh, my patrons get first dibs. So I highly recommend you become a patron. However, you don't have to. I just want you to be aware that your patronage is very appreciated. All right, so thank you. And next time I'm going to be talking about vanishing points and deciding where and how the perspective works in your pictures. All right, see you next time. Bye.